Hello. Today I'm going to be going over a very short guide for the Coliseum quiver. This is intended to be the lazy man's method, so it's going to be a high upfront cost of gear, but in return, easier on the waves and stuff. Flicking, off ticking, and stuff like that is the goal of these items. So, going over the items that are an absolute necessity for this style if you're going to go the way I get my quivers. You're going to want full justies, so justy helmet, chest, legs, and a Den's bulwark are just a necessity for this build. I strongly recommend a suffering. However, you could replace it with a light bearer if you're bringing SGS or something like that and you're trying to lazy camp, but with my build and the stuff I bring, shouldn't need an SGS. You would want a suffering just to make yourself tankier. You can see in the video here, I have prims. You can upgrade that to a vernic if you need, or vernic, gracious, the treads, or keep it prims. Ferocious gloves, strongly recommend because we're going to be meleeing soul. Infernal cape if you have it, downgrade to fire cape if you don't. Rancor if you don't got Rancor, downgrade to torture. If you don't have torture, downgrade to I guess blood fury. Really wouldn't recommend. We're going to lean on our mage here for gear or for healing. So those are the what you see equipped. Now in my inventory, you can see I have a scythe. You don't have to bring scythe. You can downgrade to whip. I did my first ever quiver with a whip. You can do it as well. Just bring vernic as well. I haven't DPS calced. I would recommend just DPS calcing if the Noxious Halberd's going to beat it out, or Salad Blade's better, whatever you got. Just kind of follow. I imagine Salad Blade's better than whip, but I've only done them with one whip and then all scythes after. So I 100% would say bring in Confliction Gauntlets. They will carry your ability to heal and hit multiple freemies, because the way our gear is set up, we're going to need to hit the freemies several times because this is just bad gear for clearing. So I would strongly recommend Confliction Gauntlets. You don't need Kodai. You can bring an Ancient Staff. You can bring something else. It's just my best weapons are bringing Kodai. Again, the Ancestral Top is not a hard requirement, but it does make your life a lot easier to hit the barrages on stuff to heal up when we're inevitably hit. So you can either downgrade that to the Desert Treasure 2 top, downgrade that to an Aram's top, or not even bring it, just bring one more brew if you'd like. It's not a hard requirement. Okay. I would also recommend if you're bringing a one-handed casting weapon, you bring a mage's book with you, or something that's going to give you that more mage accuracy, because we can smuggle in extra food and it doesn't hurt us because I have a scythe. So if you don't have a scythe, maybe you have a two-handed melee weapon, you can drop the mage's book if you want. It's just going to make you splash a little more, but that's where the Confliction Gauntlets come in to carry us with our low mage accuracy. Okay, when it comes to range gear, I have a T-bow. T-bow is the best in slot as far as I know for this method for bringing just your weapon and an Ava's with it. So if you don't have T-bow, I would say go to the Bofa. If you don't have Bofa, it's kind of between, I believe Scorching Bow is the next best if you don't have Bofa. And if you don't have a Scorching Bow, your next bet would be Venator Bow, but it doesn't get that 10 tiles we're looking for. The 10 tiles really carries the Myopia part. So if you're not getting Myopia, Venator is good. If you don't want Venator Bow, Rune Crossbow long range is 10 tile. It's the same DPS as the Venator Bow. So that's your trade-off. We really want a 10 tile so we can try to take Myopia and make it kind of free for our solves, where again we're trying to force solves where we're not flicking. So this is the gear I would recommend you bring in and use. And then I'm going to start breaking down each wave. I'm going to skip through the easy parts, like where if there's no double south spawn and I'm just setting up the wave and killing them, I'll show like on the first wave, and then I'll kind of speed it up through so you can see the important stuff here, how I move pillars, how I solve stuff with trying to avoid, off-ticking things and stuff like that. So let's get into the first wave here. So wave 1 here, nothing special. I generally kill in the order of I'm going to barrage the melee, I'll melee the range, and then I'll T-bow the major, and then I'll kill major. If melee spawns, kill melee reinforcement, and then we're going to set ourselves up for the engage tile, and I'll explain that in a second. Alrighty, so starting at every other wave, we're gonna start at this engage tile at the beginning, 2, 3, 4, etc. We're always gonna be trying to get here. When we kill the last enemy, we run to the engage tile. So at the bottom of my screen, you can see the tick counter I have. It's solely just for Coliseum because it makes it easier. You want to set it to 5 tick. I like to every time then I'll pick my my little thing at the end of the wave, my volatility or whatever I'm picking at tick number 5. And then I'll turn on Pray Mage or Range just depending on what I think is coming up, which you can see I have to plug it to tell me what I should be worried about. And then when it hits tick 5 again, I'm going to go to the A tile over there. You don't have to, it just makes me feel the safest that the spawns will always move where I want them. And then I will move up and down to start handling the little Fremenix one at a time. I usually control walk just to minimize me being hit extra. Okay, so wave 3, again, we get no double south spawn. However, we do get our first actual weird solve I'm going to show you that doesn't require us off ticking here. So I'm going to skip ahead to where we get the weird stack here. So you see here we have the double javelin and a major behind it. The small majors have a very short vision range, and I had the wrong tile mark from whenever I did this before, so I had to fix the tile so I take damage. So you have 2 options for solving this little weird stack. You can put on the T-bow and just T-bow down the javelin or the major. It makes a difference. Or your other option, which you'll see me do here as well, is you can just step out and get it to come around the javelin and come down, and then just go back behind the pillar and kill it from there. Just be careful with reinforcements. Like me, I was trying to squeeze in some damage, and you always want to make sure you're back in time so the reinforcements get stuck on the pillar. Alrighty, so on wave 4, again, I don't get a double south spawn. It's a very easy wave generally. It's just the lion and the major and our Fremenix. So I'm going to use this wave instead to go over what I haven't gone over, what modifiers you should be taking with this playstyle. So I'm going to recommend my favorites and what I generally take. Now, in this run, I got horrible modifiers. In this run, you see me when I get this quiver, I would just reset if it was my first quiver, because some of these are just not ideal for what you want. So let's go through them. So Blasphemous 1, 2, and 3 are very good. We're always going to start off with Blasphemous. It's just a good one to try to fall back onto if you see nothing else. Bees. Bees are always a no-go. They're just gonna be a pain in your butt. I would try to avoid bees at all costs. Doom, on a learner run, I would say Doom is a hard pass. I would never take Doom. If you are confident in your gameplay further in, you're probably not doing this style, so you might feel more comfortable with it. But I would avoid Doom. Frailty. Frailty, I'm so sorry. Frailty. I'm not opposed to Frailty. I would recommend if you're going to take Frailty, it comes later into the waves, so you're not hitting low HPs at wave 7. I generally, personally, don't go under the Frailty 2, because it puts you at 80 HP, and then the next one will put you at 60 HP, meaning you could almost be one hit by soul if you mess up a parry or something like that. So Frailty 2 is okay, but I would try to avoid it later waves. Dynamic Duo, generally a lot of people say to stay away from this one. I would say it's a last resort pick if you got nothing else. I ended up picking it in this run, but it's probably going to give you some double south spawns if you get it early. Okay, Manny Mayhem, the Mana Core buff. I used to be a huge fan of this one, and if you're willing to flick the Manticores while you're moving pillars, it's not the end of the world. However, with this strat, you're obviously leaving it up to more RNG, and it forces you to fight to prioritize the Mana Cores over majors. So I would say avoid Manti Mayhem if you can. Manti Mayhem 1 is okay, or 2 even for that matter, if it's forced though. It's not the end of the world. So don't feel bad if you need to get it or anything like that. Take it if you got to. Next we have is the Myopia. So Myopia is free. I would say always take Myopia. This is why we try to get a 10 tile range weapon, because it allows us to still get 4 tiles. You can also manual cast to like full distance. So Myopia is good if you can get it. I didn't get it at all in this one, so it makes the T-bow just absolutely a godsend for solving weird stacks. Re-entry. I would say with this playstyle, it is a hard avoid. We kill the Firmenich so slow that you can run out of tiles in a lot of positions that are like safe for like when you're safe spotting the Minotaur and you have a javelin hitting you the entire time. You're gonna run out of tiles before you're able to solve this problem. So I would generally say avoid re-entry. However, if you're doing like a normal run, re-entry is chill. Relentless. Relentless is straight up ignore. You cannot take Relentless. It completely bypasses this build of I want to be super tanky and just play mage. Avoid Relentless. Solar Flare. Solar Flare is not the end of the world. I ended up getting forced to take it, but I had done a couple quivers with it at this point. I would recommend first run, avoid Solar Flare. Solar Flare 1 is not the end of the world, though. It really won't affect your soul that much. Solar Flare 2 and a 3 will really limit you where you can go and soul and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. It did make my playstyle for this quiver you're seeing now a little different. Quartet. Quartet in general, adding the extra Firmenich is not the end of the world. However, in our build, since we are not one-hitting the Firmenichs, it is going to make it a lot harder. So if you're juggling a Manticore while you're killing the Firmenichs, it's going to be almost impossible for you to kill the Firmenichs before the reinforcements spawn. And if you have volatility, it's going to make your life really hard. I would say avoid Quartet, but don't end your run if it's your only option. Give it a shot, get used to it. Totemic, never take Totemic. A hard pass next to Red Flag, Totemic, just never take those two. I would rather you take Red Flag over Totemic. That's just going to make you move pillars a lot more. Volatility. Volatility is always a good one. I would really recommend just getting used to volatility and just moving away, stacking the sand down below, and then moving back up to your pillar. It's really not that hard of a one once you get used to it. I would strongly recommend volatility. So obviously everybody's going to have their own preferences of what modifiers you're going to want to take, so just keep that in mind. But these are the modifiers I recommend and I generally try to take with this strategy of tanky runs. Okay, I just quickly wanted to show the destacking stuff. So you'll see I'll kill the Manticore and I'll run back to A tile so they stay stacked how they were originally. If you ever get a weird stack like this, just shimming left and right will destack them at certain pillars. So it's always worth giving it a little 2-tile movement to see if they'll destack for you automatically. Alrighty, so again, I get lucky, wave 6, no double south spawn, so I don't have to do anything crazy yet, though it's coming here in a wave or two. So what I recommend, you'll probably at this point know the notorious waves for double south spawns, 5, 6, 10, 11. Those generally get one. You should be prepared for 1 or 2 of those to have it every one of your runs. I'd say it's very rare you go an entire run without a double south spawn. But on those runs, you see me turn Augury on beforehand, get the extra defense. It's only going to help you if you need to immediately put on the Den's Bulwark and travel across pillars. So be ready to put the tankiness on. In this wave, nothing really special happens. But you'll probably have noticed a pattern. I generally, unless I think I can safe spot the reinforcements, but when the reinforcements are Mage and Melee, Minotaur, and Mage, so I have 2 things coming, I generally wait for them to come before I solve the wave, just because you just want to remove the extra things before you need a pillar move, or you need to, just do some sort of fancy solve. So I'll wait for them, kill the reinforcements, and then handle it from there. So for this wave, if you look at my tiles I have marked, there's a yellow tile right in front of the 2 javelin people. That yellow tile indicates the vision range of the guy at the back pillar. So standing on that tile will allow me to A, melee the javelins if I wanted to clear the room, or put on a T-bow if, let's say, for example, there's something blocking there. The solar flare's in the way. I can't stand there. You can just put your T-bow on or whatever and stand back and shoot, and the other guy behind the back pillar won't be able to see you and he won't escape. The other purpose, which we'll see in a future wave, is that tile is also used for corner trapping, which can solve a double stack when they are different enemy types. So we'll see that here in a future wave. Alrighty, wave 7, again, a great run here. No double south spawn. However, we do get our first annoying little thing we have to deal with, which is handling the Fremenix and a Manicore. I strongly recommend you get comfortable with this. There's some runs I get this, four waves where the Manicore is hitting me while I'm clearing it. So get confident with being able to walk down. I like to generalize it thinking like Jad. Okay, I can get my 1 to maybe 2 attacks in if it takes 2 hits to kill what HP he's at, and then pray against the Manicore and then move and stuff like that. Generally, they shouldn't beat you up bad enough that you're like, oh, I gotta move pillars or something like that. You should be able to clear it fine with only 3 of them, no quartet. The only thing you need to keep in mind is in future waves when reinforcements come, if the reinforcements has a major in there, if they're same ticked when the major gets to you, you're good to go. You can just keep praying the way you need to pray against the Manicore and ignore the major. Or if they're off ticks, you need to decide if you're close enough to kill it or if you need to move pillars. So just keep that in mind. And I would recommend getting comfortable with killing the Manicore, killing the Fremenix while tanking the Manicore. Okay, so we're going to go over 2 things here in this little clip. I'm going to yapping for a second. So first thing I haven't really been showing too much is, you've seen I'm taking damage and probably when it's cut back in full HP just like now. I am blood barraging. If I'm missing HP, I'm just blood barraging that HP back when I force the 1v1. So I just had the Minotaur there. He's a melee, so he should be weak to mage. Take all of the gear off that lowers my magic stats. Barrage him till I get to whatever my HP can be. Finish him off with melee or range or whatever if I don't want to, waste runes or anything like that. But in general, you should be using that to be getting your HP up. We want to save the bruise for the double south spawns in soul. Because sometimes the double south spawns are generous. Sometimes you're going to take 100 damage and you're going to eat 2 brews in 1 wave. So you want to have those brews for the waves and not for avoidable stuff where you can just barrage it back up. So that first. Second here is, as you've seen, is I'm doing... I have tile trapped the closer guy and then using that to range the back guy. So obviously if a javelin is the back person, this won't work because he's going to throw a javelin there and you're going to get hit, you're going to have to move, and when you move, the first guy can see you. But since the major is the back guy, I can trap him and then just AFK shoot the major death. Unfortunately, since I picked Solar Flare, this removes one of my solves. However, it's technically not the end of the world since the thing is so slow. You can just run away when the meteor is going to come, or the little ball, the solar flare is going to come, and then just flick 1 time to the ranger, and then back to the major, and you're good. And just reset up the solve. So to do this, as you saw, go to the A tile, let them shift all the way over, click that little that yellow tile I have on the top corner, and it'll set this up every time. Just remember, it won't work if a javelin's back there. He's going to throw a javelin eventually. The wave A here, again, even with taking Dynamic Duo, I get great spawns. Kind of surprised. At this point, I thought with me picking Dynamic Duo, I was going to have double south spawns every wave. So we really lucked up. We didn't get it here on a Shocker wave where they spawn. So again, handle the Fremenix, handle the Ranger, handle the reinforcements, and then we're going to look to solve the rest of the wave. If you're worried the reinforcements are going to get stuck on your stack because they're like weirdly shaped, standing on the A tile should align them all to the left to force your guy to come down, and then you can just step over to the B tile so he can't reach you, and then solve it from there. Okay, so we are getting to our first stack here where we need to move pillars. So with Solar Flare, it makes it a little weirder because I gotta like time when I'm gonna move over and wait and stuff, but in general, you don't gotta worry about that. So a lot of the pillar moving, we're leaning on the equipment to be tanky so the javelins don't hit us. We pray Mage, we pray Piety, or whatever you want to pray to negate some of the damage we're going to receive. However, if you know you can just pray Mage, and I wouldn't do the Piety thing. Like if you can flick the Mana Core and it aligns up with the other minions, I would do that, making your life easier, less risk involved. But we'll go over that when we see that. So, a lot of pillar moving is just knowing how the enemies are going to move and path. It's trial and error from dying or just understanding the pathing of the enemies. This one requires a double pillar move. So you can see I have a decision to make at the first pillar. Do I A, stay on the side I'm on, and I would need to off tick, which is not the objective of this playstyle. So that leaves me with two other options. I can move to the other side, hope the Mana Core same ticks the Major, and I can go from there. But if I don't want to leave it up to messing with that, you move pillars again, you force the 1v1 with the Mana Core, and then you get the same option when you move the third pillar. You'll force the 1v1. If it doesn't line up the way you want, you move a fourth pillar, and we lean on moving pillars until we force 1v1s that are good. If you lose any HP in the movements, you can barrage if it's a lot. You can brew if it's a lot, or you just try to barrage once you get the 1v1 to get your HP back. I'm going to quickly skip through wave 9 here as we don't get a double south spawn as you see, and we also get just a really easy spawn in general, so there's nothing to be had. Kill your Fremenix, kill your reinforcement, fight the right Mana Core first so the Javelin doesn't come down, fight the second Mana Core, pull the Javelin down, kill the Javelin, easy wave. So wave 10, we don't get a double south spawn, which is crazy. I also took Relentless, which is the worst perk to take for this build, but it was the last wave, so I was willing to accept it over the other ones. So a quick wave here again. Just pray against the mana core, solve the wave, and we'll go from there after we kill them from it. Quick note for when the reinforcements come, if you for some reason get major first, you need to decide if the mage is same tick. If the mage is same tick with the mana core, if that's what you're fighting, you're good to just kill the mana core. If the are off tick, I would just look to move unless you've almost killed the mana core. Then I would just move to a different pillar. Vice versa, if you've killed the mana core and the major is first, so flipped on how you see the reinforcements when I get them, the solution is where the A tile is going about 4 or 5 tiles down, and then just T-bowing the Minotaur behind the major and just killing it. That'll be the easiest solution. It shouldn't drag you out. It should be a safe kill for killing the Minotaur behind him. Then you can kill the mage minion, then solve the stack. Alright, I'm going to be quickly running you through Soul's attacks and specials before I show the full Soul fight. So, first up is Shield 1, Shield 2. Shield 1, you step 1 tile away. Shield 2, you step 2 tiles away. Second clip is Shield 1 to Spear 1. So, if he switches between Shield and Spear, it just reverts to the first attack cycle. Next is Spear 1, Spear 2. So, there's 3 lines in front of him. You can either be the center, far left, far right. You go 1 back or a couple tiles back. And then Spear 2, you either need to be 1 tile to the left or 1 tile to the right when you go back. Just follow like I do there. When Soul does either of his specials, the parry special, where you're praying melee every time he hits you, you will need to reset the cycle. So if he did a Spear 1, the next one, if he does a Spear, will be Spear 1 again. Praying against the parry will be, I believe it, if I'm hopefully not wrong, I'll correct it in notes afterwards, is 3 game ticks, 3 game ticks, 3 game ticks. If he's over, I think 50% HP, and under 50% HP, it becomes 3 ticks, 3 ticks, 4 ticks. Same thing with the parry, or not for the parry, with the armor grab. That'll also reset the attack cycle. So if he grabs your armor and it was Spear 1 before that, it's going to be Spear 1 again or Shield 1. And finally, when he puts sand on the ground, that does not reset the attack cycle. So if it was Spear 1 and then after he does Spear again, it's going to be Spear 2, and you need to move out for Spear 2.